This video is going to be a film study look at another dynamic performance from Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams, in this case a 5-catch, 143-yard, 1-touchdown performance as Detroit went on the road and won 34-17 over the Chicago Bears. Williams now has 6 touchdowns on the year. He added on an 82-yarder in the second quarter that really made the differential too large for the Bears to overcome, even though they made a mini comeback from mid-second quarter on. Williams is averaging 18.9 yards per catch on his 47 receptions in 2024. He's called a home run hitter, rightfully so, don't get me wrong, but I almost look at him as a guy who hits a whole bunch of doubles and triples. Because some of these shorter catches, he's turning into 14, 16, 20-yard gains, essentially more yards after the catch than most people. That's not the case on the 82-yard touchdown from Jared Goff. We'll show you that during the portion of this video. I will digress and talk about the stumble bum / stumble Rooski play that Ben Johnson put in to essentially reestablish a 20-point lead early in the third quarter. So I'll try to spot shadow Jameson Williams in each case. This is the speed out in the first quarter where he gets a penalty. It's 12 personnel. He's going against Tyreek Stevenson. St. Brown motions away. Goff is looking over there immediately because of how quickly he can get on top of the DB, threatening a deeper vertical route. Speed out is something that's just there. As soon as you get the guy to turn the hips like this, the speed out concept is there because of the threat for him to release to the outside and then take this vertical. It's almost a gimme. It's almost something that's there all the time, in my opinion. Actually, that was a 2nd and 2. I had it mislabeled as a 1st and 10. Third possession here. This is a 1st and 10 against zone, and it's a deep over concept. Lines are already up 10-0, by the way. Goff, I thought, was from this angle view, a tick late in getting the ball here, but where he's throwing the football, he's got an inside linebacker directly in his window, and when you get the end zone angle view, you'll see Goff has got to kind of wait for that inside linebacker to clear. It's Edwards who's matching up with Gibbs post-snap, and this throw ends up being low. I think Goff is trying to protect Jameson Williams because he sees the safety oncoming, converging down from his cover 2 alignment. So that's the linebacker that I'm talking about. It's Edwards. And Goff, I think, once he executes his play action fake, he whips his head around. He identifies the safety immediately. You can kind of see his feet right there in the top middle portion of your screen. And Goff has got to wait for Edwards to clear with Gibbs, number 1. Number 2, he's got to throw this underneath of the safety such that he can't really lay a big hit on Jameson Williams. Live speed, for me at least, I thought that ball's a little late. And I thought maybe a little low, but now watching the all-22 angle this morning, kind of realized Goff put it in a place to protect his guy and not set him up for a bigger collision or a bigger hit. It's a 17-yard play. This is what I mean when I say a bunch of doubles and triples. The home run, the 82-yarder that we'll show you in a moment, is flashy and fun to watch, and we want to see as many of those as possible. I'd like to see him get to 10 touchdowns this year. These, what I call doubles and triples, almost really ruin the defensive structure, I think, when he's on the field. They give the defense too many guys to worry about from a horizontal and a vertical standpoint. This is still that third possession, 10-0 Detroit, like I said a moment ago. It's a 3rd and 6, and it's going to be incomplete. Watching it live, I thought to myself, how does this ball end up in the location that it did? There's the 2 drags that you get from Jameson Williams and Tim Patrick. Additional to that, it's essentially mesh. You've got a later dig by St. Brown, not exactly on that route path that I just drew. Williams trying to run across the face of the linebacker, and Mahogany just gets beat here. So he's dealing with number 91 down here to the bottom side of the screen. Sorry, it's 73, the left guard. I thought he played pretty well for being his first game. To have acquired him, I believe, in the 6th round is really remarkable. I will tell you from a Ravens standpoint, he's a guy that twice, as we were picking in the draft last year, I thought, why aren't we taking Christian Mahogany? I know there was injury concerns, and credit to the Lions front office for recognizing the talent that was there, number 1. And number 2, once he got his opportunity, generally played well. This is not an example of that. Goff is hit as he threw, and I think that's why the ball ends up being a little bit off target. You'd like to throw that thing out in front, let Jameson Williams run away from that inside linebacker. Whether it's man or zone, whoever you're dealing with at the second level is going to have trouble matching up with him. All right, so this is early second quarter. It's 13-0 as we snap the football. I call it over Yankee. People have different names for it. It's the 82-yard touchdown from Goff to Jameson Williams. A lot to be said here. The differential in in speed that Jameson Williams offers. The safety is just too locked on to Jared Goff and doesn't turn his hips. Now, does it really matter? Is he going to be able to turn and run with Jameson Williams? I don't know, but the one thing I will say is the combination of the routes, St. Brown running the deep over, and then like that, and then Jameson Williams running the vertical. From a Ravens standpoint, we've had trouble with this route combo for years, dating back to Justin Jefferson in a home game in 2021, I believe, his rookie year. We've just had difficulty matching up with that, how to deal with it, whether it was cover 3, which is, kind of what this looks like, except this free safety isn't exactly in the middle of the field. He's kind of set off to the right-hand side. They've buzzed down one safety to the second level, and St. Brown's going to bring his route across. The safety is kind of locked on to Jared Goff too much. And look, he's already throwing the football, he being Jared Goff. He's already pulling the pin here to deliver the football downfield. And Williams is 4 yards short of the safety. Trust, obviously, in his speed and ability to go get it. And then also just recognizing this is a shot play. He could throw it on the deep over to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was kind of quiet on the day. I think he had 6 catches for 73 yards, something like that. Same play from the end zone angle. You don't get Jameson Williams into the screen until late, obviously. But Goff did not deter from looking directly where he wanted to attack, because there's 2 options on this play. Laporta is really option number 3 underneath the inside linebackers. But from a progression standpoint, it's St. Brown and Williams, and that's it. And perfectly thrown by Goff. Remember last year how many of these? I felt like there was at least 3, maybe 4, that Goff left out there. Whether he threw it too far, whether it was underthrown. The one against Tampa Bay was almost kind of even on the wrong side. I'm talking about the touchdown in Week 6 on the road last year, the 20-6 win over the Bucs. This one's beautiful. It has to be fun to watch for Lions fans, any Lions fan for that matter, but particularly those of us that were really excited when they drafted Jameson Williams, despite the injury. By the way, this one put them up 20-0. I think once you're up 20-0, even though the defense has so many guys out at this point, pretty much knew the game is over. The Lions got this one in hand. They're staring 13-2 right in the face with a road trip to the 49ers. But back to Jameson Williams in the draft and the struggles that he had early on. Look, he averaged 41 yards per catch his rookie year, but that was because he only had 1 catch. I think 2023, 15.9, 15.6, somewhere in that range. And then this year, 18.9 along with 6 touchdowns. He's not going to get to 10 touchdowns unless you get some super explosive finish to the regular season against the 49ers on the road and then at home against the Vikings. But what he's put up, going to be in the 55, 58 catch range, hopefully 8, 9 touchdowns. I think that's a good start to where the front office, where the coaching staff wants him to be, regardless of whether Ben Johnson sticks around. Jameson Williams, I think, has been integrated on more than just deep concepts like you just saw on the 82-yard touchdown from Goff that put him up 20-0. Here's an example, and it's a really cool play. It's his 5th possession in the second quarter after the Bears have scored. So it's going to be play action. And so what I mean is you're getting horizontal threat of Gibbs running to his left, and then that may not be Gibbs back there. My apologies. And then Williams running underneath on a hide concept. Now, there's another element to this. It's not Gibbs. My apologies. There's another factor here in why this play works and why Kyler Gordon ends up being so, I guess people would say, out of position, but he's being misled. So the right tackle, Sewell, is going to step to the D end. Keep in mind, you got run, flow here with the running back, and St. Brown is stepping to the inside and making it look like Jill ISO, where he's going to go get the backside inside linebacker, and what that would set up, if it was a run play, is the running back kind of winding it back underneath of all the offensive linemen working in this direction, essentially a zone concept with a lock call on the backside. When I say lock, what I mean is the right tackle, in this case Sewell, stepping opposite of it, and then St. Brown inserting underneath in the B gap to go pick up a backside flow player. And as a result, that holds Kyler Gordon. He's got his eyes on St. Brown and the backfield at the same time, try to determine, was it handed off? Is it going to be thrown to St. Brown? Do I need to fold inside in here? And he has no idea that Jameson Williams, the fastest guy on the field, is jetting out into the flats, actually underneath of Sewell and the defensive end dealing with each other. Really cool concept. I called it Jill Hyde. Jill is, and look, whatever terminology apply it to yourself. Apply it yourself. It's probably more efficient than what I know. But the Jill aspect is normally a tackle stepping out to an edge player, defensive end, and then a wing, slot, receiver, even a tight end in some cases, stepping inside to go ISO a front side inside linebacker. The Lions run it, though, on run concepts here, allowing the running back to cut it back because, like I said, St. Brown or whoever is tasked to do so will go dig out that backside player. In some cases, they'll just keep riding them in this direction, so the cutback actually flows off of the backside of the Jill block. It's not really necessarily a Jill block. It's a backside concept. So you see all the convergence of players here. This is very similar, in my opinion, to a wing tee concept called buck sweep, whereby you have a fake to one side, and then the fullback is running out into the flats. The only difference is Jameson Williams is obviously not a fullback. A lot more speed than any fullback at any level of football ever. Almost unfair to expect Kyler Gordon to have to deal with all of it. Oh, by the way, let's say he did run out into the flats and take away Jameson Williams. St. Brown's just going to sit right there on the hash and be available as a late release valve to Jared Goff. Borderline indefensible play, in my opinion, and you get 14 yards. Very simple. Jameson Williams out into the flats. Like I said, on the fifth possession, after the Bears had scored to close to 20-7. This is the end of that possession, that drive. They're going to go up 27-7 here late in the second quarter, excuse me. And Jameson Williams doesn't really do much on this screen, to be honest with you. Now, for that matter, neither does, I think it's Jaylon Johnson. Neither one of those guys is executing really much of anything here. But I was wondering about the timing and the lane that develops here. And I think it's because Tim Patrick ends up blocking the nickel defender, which he's tasked to do. But the nickel defender, Kyler Gordon, is in fact blitzing. So because he's blitzing, that means Patrick has to take him on in a little bit of an unusual location. They would like for Patrick to block him this way and St. Brown to slip underneath of that block and then go behind the pulling lineman. And in this case, because Gordon was blitzing and Tim Patrick blocked him, yeah, St. Brown did take it underneath of the first blocker, which I think is Taylor Decker, but he doesn't go underneath of Tim Patrick's block because, like I said, Gordon is blitzing on the play. It's not, I won't call it a 0 for Jameson Williams, but it's certainly not a 2. Whatever grading system you use, I understand PFF uses like a 0 to 2. The grading system that we had when I was a high school coach involved a 0 to 2 system. Very rarely did we apply a negative number. Finally, what I think is an example of another double, really a triple, I should say. This is 6th possession in the third quarter, in fact. It's a snag concept against zone. So snag, if you don't know, is outside receiver kind of sitting down, angled hook, presenting himself to the quarterback. And then inside receiver, in this case tight end Sam Laporta, running out into the flats. Snag, flat, usually used against zone in order to create horizontal conflict, generally to the boundary. Since the ball is on the right hash, that's what we have here. The only difference is the Bears really screw this up. The corner and the safety both go with the flat route, Sam Laporta, and Jameson Williams catches it. Snag's not supposed to go for 25 yards. Part of it is because it's a busted coverage by the Bears, don't get me wrong. But a lot to be said here. First, Jameson Williams. There's a pump fake from Goff out here to Laporta, brings it back, wide open lane. The fact that he can go underneath, not once, but twice, and give ground to gain ground at the NFL level, that's not normal, in my opinion. That's just an illustration, if you ask me, of the type of speed that Jameson Williams has. I guess at times, maybe, could it backfire? Sure. Another thing to mention here is now you should get excited about this, or at least pleased with the way the Detroit Lions play football. Watch what guys do after they don't get the ball. I'm not saying other NFL teams don't do this. And I'm not saying that this is designed, this is only going to Jameson Williams, this is a design play. No, this is not. And that actually, to me, helps make the point an even stronger one. Put an exclamation point on it. These guys play for each other. Whether it's instinctive, whether it's trained, whether it's coached, or all of those things at the same time, it's what happens on the field. And there are NFL teams, the Chicago Bears right now, mind you, who do not do this. who, if they don't get the ball, they pretty much stop playing and observe and figure out or make sure that they're not in the way of the trash, of the mess. Again, other teams play football in the same manner, but it's the totality. Everyone on the field does this for the Detroit Lions. We used to have a saying for our defenses, be in the screen. And so what that means is be in the screen when the play ends, when a tackle occurs for our defense. Be in the screen, be there, close enough such that within 2 steps you could get to the football. Now, that doesn't happen on this play necessarily, but that's the type of mentality that I think I see out of the Detroit Lions on offense and defense. Everyone, whether they're getting the football or not, whether they've gotten the requisite touches so far in a particular game, continues to play on every snap, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to try to break down the film and present things to you that I think I notice that maybe you missed or I missed on live watch. So finally, the stumble bum play that reestablishes a 20-point lead, I think makes it 34-14 in the third quarter. Stumble bum, stumble Ruski, whatever. Williams is running the clear out route up to the top side of the screen, and it's important because they're trying to get this corner out of here. I believe it's Tyreek Stevenson, so we're talking about right here, and so he's given an inside release. And then Stevenson isn't sure what to do because he ends up with his eyes in the backfield for a moment. And now I think he's looking for work from the opposite side. He's thinking that you're going to get dual over concepts. So I believe that Stevenson's reacting as if you're going to get like a climb concept and an over concept, post and an over, whatever phrases you want to apply. Essentially 2 deep in-breaking routes at an angle such that, like the Lions do, this corner could fall off and deal with this route. And conversely, on the other side, this corner, Stevenson could fall off and deal with St. Brown's route. Hopefully I said it in a way that makes sense. The only problem is that's not what it is. This safety ends up with his eyes in the backfield, as you see. And once Gibbs and Jared Goff execute the stumble bum, it's over. It's a beautiful play. And the crazy thing is they've got more in the bag than this, we know. At some point, probably off season, hopefully after the Super Bowl, I'll be able to do a video on how many trick plays, anomalous concepts, whatever you want to call it, however you want to refer to them, Ben Johnson and the Detroit Lions have used in his tenure in Detroit. It's a beautiful concept. Look, at this point, it's 34-14 early in the third quarter, and the Lions are averaging 8.4 yards per play. Really cool timing. If you have ever coached football, or this is a pain in the butt to deal with. Tight end leak is what most people refer to it as. If you've got a great memory, or you're just a hardcore Lions fan, late 2022 on the road against the Jets, Brock Wright's game-winning touchdown. That was tight end leak. Essentially a play-action concept whereby the tight end blocks for a moment and then continues in the same path out in the flats. The only difference is this is not out into the flats. Laporta is taking this over the top of the safety. Now, I also do think or wonder if Laporta is eyeing the safety as he's blocking. So as he's executing his block, and I don't know this to be sure, I've never taught this concept. I don't mean right now, but I mean once he executes this block, if he adjusts his route based on that safety right there, number 36. So I'm talking about essentially right now, with this safety low from the standpoint of the line of scrimmage, closer to the line of scrimmage than maybe he should be, Laporta takes his route vertical, over the top. Let's say that, let me get that logo out of the way. My apologies. Let's say that this safety was not here. Say his feet was down off screen here, and we couldn't find him. He wasn't there. I think Laporta may bring his route to the flats, to open space, and Goff would probably adjust and throw it there. I could be wrong there. That may not actually be the read for Laporta and Goff on that play. Either way, it's a great setup. They are absolutely in control of this Bears defense at this point. And in fact, for the 2 games in 2024, even the first game in Detroit, however, the Bears did have some good moments of red zone defense. And they're really good in red zone defense throughout the year. Well, excuse me, up to the last 3 games. Been really poor on defense since getting rid of the head coach. I think 102 points allowed, if memory serves, over the last 3 games. So just taking huge steps back, 2 or 3 levels below what they had been able to put out on film early in the season, and even for parts of that week, that first game in Detroit that the Lions were able to hold on and win. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you enjoyed the film study look at Jameson Williams' Week 16 performance, then please let me know in the comment section, number one. Number two, if you're not aware, I do have a Patreon for Lions fans. It's $4.99 a month. You can join and you get access to a film database that shows some plays with some information for you to see and access on your own. Or if you want to create content, feel free to use my work and do so. The biggest perk for the Patreon, in my opinion, and the feedback that I've got, is the Discord, the private community that's a Discord. At this point, I think about 26, 28 Lions fans in there, able to interact during the games, during the week, share links, share videos, and or opinions. Essentially a safe community for Lions fans to interact in a way that they're not going to be attacked by people from other fan bases who are pissed off that the Lions just came into their city and ripped them up once again. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this content, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach. Appreciate you guys' time.